Meghan, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really happy to have you here. You and I have been chit-chatting back and forth for some time now. It's been awesome being able to support each other with our businesses. So nevertheless, I'm really excited to have you on the show and learn a lot more about not just your services, but more about your background and experience. So just to give our listeners a better idea as to who you are and where you come from, everyone, I'd love to introduce Meghan Loomes to you. Meghan is a naturopath nutritionist, but she actually used to be a pharmacy technician and assistant for about 20 years. And it's because of this that she has so much knowledge on medicine. Meghan provides people with natural remedies to help them get on a healthier path for their overall health. She also specializes in working with people who have IBS, weight loss, or any other health issues and problems. So Meghan, that's actually very impressive. I'm really looking forward to learning more about this. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
So Meghan, I gotta ask, what inspired you to take the naturopathic and nutritionist route over, like, rather than continuing with the pharmaceutical route?
I saw so many problems with all of my patients in the pharmacy world. And it was just like there's so many more natural products out there that people don't know. And it just kind of blew my mind. And it said, come on, like, why can't you just take this for this? I mean, of course, there's certain medications, like say for your heart or for different organs in your body that you need medication. I totally understand that. And I understand that.
Yeah.
But there's so many things that like cholesterol, stress and anxiety, anything to do with food or anything like that. And I just saw this and I just said, you know what? This isn't the place for me anymore. I need to go start doing a more natural route, possibly even do a business. And this is henceforth why I started this, because it's just something that people should know about. And plus, I think with COVID, people really opened up their eyes and said, hey, maybe I should start looking for alternatives for anything, for my health, for my family, etc. Do I want to be around for my great grandchildren or my grandchildren? A lot of people want to say yes. Some people say no. That's up to you. But at the end of the day, most people want to live a long life.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I could definitely see that and resonate with that in terms of, because it's so common now, especially just like within the healthcare system, for people to go in with, we'll say, like IBS, or just honestly any maybe even like chronic pain or health issues, and the doctor just prescribe them medication, say this will make your problems go away, right? Even like with mental health, we won't go too deep into that, but mental health as well, right? When really, did they actually consider all factors, right? So I really like this. Now, do you recall there being like a specific moment in time where you were just like, yeah, I feel like people are sort of like selling themselves short, or like this isn't the way, or was it just sort of like a gradual thing?
I think it was kind of like a mind, like, of course, it was a gradual thing because I was in the pharmacy industry for 20 years, right? So of course, it was gradual. And I think right near the end of my career in pharmacy, just before I had my daughter, I was like, this is not for me. I even remember saying to the owner of the pharmacy that I worked with, this is not the industry that I should be in, because this is not what I want to do. And another point I wanted to say was, people are like robots. The doctor hands them a prescription. They go to the pharmacy. They take the medication. They don't ask questions and say, why am I taking this medication?
Right.
They just take it just because, like, it's like, I say robots because that's pretty much what people are doing.
Yeah.
And I saw that so much
Yeah.
in the industry. And I thought, I can't, like, I got to get out of this place because it was just getting too much.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, and let me ask you this, and you don't have to go into too much detail for like confidential reasons, but did you find that there were a lot of like repeat, I guess repeat customers, or not customers, maybe clients, or patients rather, who continued to face the exact same issues that you knew could be solved with, say, like a better diet,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I saw it constantly. People were coming in for say heartburn. I need to take
Oh,
my heartburn medication. Now there's so many natural ways to get rid of heartburn. You want to keep taking that pill and it's chemicals. People don't realize it's chemicals you're putting into your body and in the long run, it's not healthy. Your liver is going to totally suffer in like 10, 20 years. You're going to have now all of a sudden liver problems.
yeah.
Now, why? Why is that? Oh, because I was taking this medication for 30, 40 years.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like people really underestimate how impactful and powerful just a solid diet can be, right? And the thing is, we're always
Absolutely.
looking for it's those fast, like quick fixes, right? It's like, oh, I have heartburn, going to the doctor is going to get a pill, it'll go away, right? Oh, I have a headache, I'm going to take a pill, it'll go away. It's like, no, you're dehydrated, right? No, you're over what you're stressed, you're not taking care of your mental health, right? You're putting too much on your plate right now, right? Or maybe
Right.
you had way too much sugar and like or maybe it's you fail to account that you're actually weaning off of coffee, right? And like you're going through withdrawals, which is natural, right? So even like and I think that's also like an interesting point is understanding that discomfort or knowing how to listen to your body and understanding what your body is saying, right?
Right.
For like, yeah. So
Like
that's
like you just said, like people are like have a headache. You're probably dehydrated. Have more water, drink more water. I mean, like they say to drink so much water.
exactly, exactly. So now, have you actually noticed any personal changes or even changes within your clients who did decide to focus more on the nutritional and natural aspect rather than pharmaceutical?
I definitely did personally because like, again, like as I said, I have a small child, my daughter, and as you know, my daughter, so I I want to I want to be around for her, but I was like, you know what, in my mindset, I want to do this, 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 this. Like I was working in the pharmacy when I did come out to where I am right now.
Yeah.
And then I found out that I had hip bursitis.
What's
Now,
what is that?
of course, like the first thing like that the doctor's gonna give me is cortisone shot. I was like, no way, but you know what? I'll take the prescription just to make him happy.
Yeah.
So guess what I did? I researched it and then found out that what can I use for that or any other kind of inflammation? Castor oil.
Yep.
And it worked. And I
Yeah.
was able to move. I couldn't honestly, I couldn't move. I couldn't get out of bed. Now with a toddler, I got to get up. So
Mm.
how do I do that? I got to find something quick that's going to help me quick, not like a quick fix, that's not what I mean, but a quick way to get myself better.
Yeah.
And it's topical. It's not anything that's going to harm my body in the long run. If
Yeah.
you start taking cortisone shots, you got to take those constantly, constantly, constantly. Now that's again chemicals going into your body that's unnecessary.
Absolutely. And that does damage your liver over time too, doesn't it? Because so I've actually dealt with eczema. As you can see, I'm like itching my hand now. I've had eczema my entire, well, I had it when I was a baby, went away, got it again when I was about 15, right? And then I got it again when I was around like 21, 22, and it got really bad. And what's interesting is I went to like at least like 10, maybe 10 or 12 different dermatologists and doctors. And every single time it was try this steroid, no, try this steroid, blah, blah, blah. I even joined a medical trial. Like I literally did a trial drug and it went away. The eczema went away. But then of course, when the trial ended, I had to leave because I had to do some training. All of the eczema came back, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But what's amazing is the change of diet, right? So staying away from for me anyway, right? Because it does change on. I don't know if you've dealt with a lot of clients with who deal with eczema or like atopic dermatitis or anything like that, but like sugars, wheat or sorry, yeast, and so like alcohol and whatnot, and then stress. All of like those things are like the biggest, I guess.
Which a flare up, which makes those big
Exactly.
flare ups.
Exactly, right? And then you stress out about it more, right? Because you're insecure about it, right? And it hurts, it itches, right? It sucks, and you feel so out of control. And it just gets worse and worse. But what's amazing is even something so much as like meditating, right? And just or drinking more I like to drink like beet juice, believe it or not, or having more celery, like those getting those antioxidants, or even sauerkraut, right? I don't know if like these resonate with you, but like
Yes.
those items, like my body changes, right? Or like meditating, it's just like I suddenly don't itch anymore. It's insane.
Yes, I like meditating myself, and like I do recommend like to some of my clients, try meditation. If you're so stressed and so like you have so much anxiety,
Mhm.
sit down, even if it's on your bed, a couch, whatever, on the floor, and just sit, just breathe. Like there's so many YouTube videos that are out there that have like really soothing music and different things like this. Just, sit down, close your eyes, take a moment for yourself. I mean, I do it too. I have a toddler. As I said, my head goes all the time, right? Because I have to totally deal with so many different things myself, right? My business and my health, and then her, make sure she's okay. Like I have all of these things that I have to do now to keep my mental health sort of intact, if you will. I sit down, I breathe. I sit
Yeah.
down and like, do this and close my eyes and do a little bit of a meditation, even if it's 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a question for you. So, when have you noticed any like correlation between meditation and someone's nutritional habits? Have you noticed that in any of your clients or?
I haven't, but I'm sure it would. I'm
Yeah,
sure I definitely would, because again, you're kind of calming yourself down. You're
yeah,
calming your mind down by rushing around, because that's exactly what it's doing, right? It's
yeah.
running. It's running. Like it's on a treadmill, like, or one of those little mouse, right? A
Mostly,
mouse is on
yeah,
one of those little wheels, right?
yeah.
That's what your brain is doing, right? And you can't stop. Like some people say to me, I can't. I do suggest to a couple people, like even just friends, how about you sit down?
Mhm.
Calm yourself down, do a little bit of meditation. They're like, no, I can't do that. I got too much going on in my head. No.
That's
Calm
why you
down,
do it.
calm down.
Yeah,
Just don't think about it. Just sit there,
yeah,
breathe.
absolutely.
It'll
Yeah.
calm you down.
And not only that, but like even just like I imagine we kind of touched on this on our previous call, but like the amount of like cortisol releases, right? Release in like in your body and whatnot, and like whether that how stress itself can hold on to or can cause your body to hold on to weight or maybe not even gain weight, right? And it's sort of finding that balance and ensuring that you're tending to your mental health too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so what exactly does a holistic approach look like for some people who are listening who have no idea what that means? Could you just explain a little bit more about that?
Basically, it's wanting to get into a more healthier lifestyle or habits.
Mhm.
I have some examples, like a body that can resist onset of diseases,
Mhm.
natural healing abilities, reduce stress and anxiety levels, as we were just talking about, eating proper meals, getting your supplements, getting your nutrients, and all of that stuff is really basically in a nutshell what it is, really.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then I like so like not relying on any like additives or anything like or like any unnecessary additives per se,
Right,
right? Okay.
right. Or any extra sugars or any of that kind of stuff, as just kind of a more natural diet, I
Yeah.
guess you would say, right?
Yeah.
Diet. Go outside, get some sun, like simple things like that,
Yeah. Yeah,
go
absolutely.
for a walk, things.
I think a lot of it also comes down to understanding your needs versus your wants in life, right? Because we may want energy, right? So which inclines or causes us to feel inclined to grab a coffee, right? Or take a caffeine pill, right? Or have an energy drink, right? Simply because that's a want of ours, right? But what we need is sleep, right? Because our body is like, hey man, like you're actually exhausted right now, right? So I guess that would also be like a fairly, I don't know.
Just,
I
yes,
guess that's
listen
more
to
like
your
a,
body, I guess. Yes. So
yeah,
that's another thing. Listen to your body, make sure that you're doing the right things for it. Or because then in the long run, it'll help you.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then you're not building reliance on anything outside of well, outside of your control too, right?
Right. Like think about way, way, way back when, like our great grandparents say,
Yeah.
did they have all this medication for different things? No.
Yeah.
Did they have their own natural remedies? Absolutely. Did they do this?
Mhm.
Yes. What else did they do? They did all of more natural things. And another thing I'm actually looking into for my business also is I'm looking into, I have a reserve right by me, like a Native American reserve. And so I am looking into Native American healing practices.
Oh,
I've even
cool.
bought some books and I'm looking into that because, again, something more natural, a plant that they use that's grown on the reserve, only on the reserve. And
Mhm.
so, what does that do? Something probably like a health thing. I haven't really looked into my books yet, but I haven't had time to do that. But I'm going to because it's something that I'm interested in, and it's obviously something that's going to help me with my clients in the
Yeah.
long run if they don't want to go again the medication route.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I like that a lot. And I mean, like, now you all, of course, have to consider, well, actually, I'd love to hear your insight on this. So the way I think of it, right, when it comes to natural remedies and whatnot, I think that should be the first thing we should ask ourselves is, okay, what is and isn't working for my body right now? So for example, I know I have like an eczema flare up when I have way too much sugar or I go out drinking, right? I just have a huge flare up and I'm like, okay, Oksana, you messed up, right? You know that you shouldn't be ingesting these types of things, right? And
Right.
vice versa. I know that my diet is intact when my skin is looking good, right? Um, and now, so I know that, but then when it comes to like, at least this is the way I see it, right? When it comes to like infection and whatnot, right? And like actual like diseases and whatnot. So like to me, I see that as okay, it's time to get like now you need a little bit more, like you need some antibiotics, right? You need some actual like medicine, right? Where would you have, is this an area you sort of explored or you continue to explore? Like where do you draw the line? When do you ask or when do you seek out that extra, like when you need those chemicals, right? If you believe you need them.
Yeah, well, okay, like don't get me wrong. Of course, like I do take medication. Like, I mean, I don't take it on a regular basis. Like, just like on my birthday weekend, I ended up having food poisoning. Now I was sick for like 5, 7 days.
Yeah.
Like, and then I was, vomiting and like not for that whole time, but my stomach was very wheezy. And I said, okay, enough's enough. I need something that I may not have in my home, but I need something to stop vomiting. So
Yeah.
guess what? I had to call my doctor so I could start to feel a little bit better and start to feel a little bit myself again.
Yeah.
So there are times even when myself, if I need an antibiotic, okay, if my body needs that, I take it. But at the same time, I know there's other routes where you can do like
Yeah.
lemon. Like when I get a cold, I drink lemon and ginger. I take
Yeah.
actual ginger, cut it up, actual lemon, cut it up, and I boil it like a tea and I drink that and it's so good and it's healthy. And I know, guess what I'm putting in my body? Natural products.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
something natural like that instead of going to go to the store and getting that neocitrin stuff, which
Yeah.
also has the medicine in it, has the sugars, has all these alternatives in that you don't even like, you read the label and go, what the hell is that?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think you touch on a really good point there. Is like, what is this doing for my body? Right. And I think now, like, so when I worked like in like when I focus mainly on like nutrition and like personal training and whatnot, one of the things that I would always say is instead of focusing on what you don't need, focus on what your body does need, right? How would you benefit from this, right? So especially when it comes to like nutrition, asking yourself like I love going to the grocery store and like I just like I'm in awe of over all the produce, right? All the beautiful fresh fruits and veggies, right? Because all I can think about is, oh my God, the amount of like nutrients that's going into my body to make me stronger and healthier.
Right.
Like it's phenomenal, right? But and I think when you mentioned like, okay, what is this doing for
And
me?
they're colorful too.
They're
That's another
fun
thing.
to eat. Yeah,
They're
exactly.
colorful. There's so many nutrients in it, as you just said. It's like a world of like rainbow, if you will,
Right.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. And
And
I
it's all
think
nutrients going in your body.
exactly, exactly. And I think that's a really great framework to use, right? And in terms of like, well, we're like my background, like with like mindset and results coaching, right? That's another thing we like. You need to think in terms of the value rather than the exchange, right? So what value is this going to bring me by doing this, right? So even if it's like, are these thoughts really helping me to become a better person, right? Or is committing this action is it actually aligned with my goals? I imagine it's something very similar to how like you teach or like guide people to make nutritional choices, right?
Yes, absolutely. I've had different types of clients. Like I had one who had like an eating disorder. Okay.
Mhm.
And I had to deal with that. Now, she said to me, "You're the only person, a nutritionist, that would come to me and help me because no other nutritionist wanted to help me
What?
because of the fact of because she has anxiety, because she has
Oh,
and it's like,
sure, yeah.
okay,
It's a lot
so
to handle too, yeah.
it is a lot to handle. Now, okay, so you don't, okay. I said, guess what? I like challenges. Let's go, and that's what I said to her. I'm going to help you as much as I can. If
Yeah.
I can't, I will do more research on something that will guide you back into the path that you're supposed to be in.
Amazing. It's amazing that you can show up for your clients like that. It's important. That goes a long way.
You have to. And like, I don't, if I don't know something and a client asks me a question and says, okay, how about this? And if I don't know anything about it, I mean, hey, I'm not God. I don't know everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Okay, you want me to find out about that? Not a problem. Let me research into it. Let me figure out if it's right for you.
Yep.
Let me look into it a little bit more. I'll get back to you.
Yep.
And I do that for all my clients. Okay, you don't know? Okay, I don't know. I'll tell you, but let me do the research. I'll get back to you in a day or two
Amazing.
so
Amazing.
that they think, okay, she's going to put the effort in to actually help me and not just say, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. So then if you don't like you don't have to go into too much detail, again, confidential stuff. But when you worked with her, did you find that the approach was more from what did the approach look like? Was it mainly like the sort of like the mental and psychological approach and like the way she like viewed nutrition, or was it
Food. It was all just in general with food.
okay? But like did you approach it from sort of like how she views it, like the frameworking she's in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Because she did have like anxiety, stress, she had all of that kind of stuff. And then she went, okay, now, okay, so this is the root cause.
Yeah.
Now let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah,
So yes.
absolutely. And again, just
It was hard. It was definitely hard, but challenging for me as a nutritionist to get her back onto track. It
yeah.
took a while, but we got her back onto track. And
Amazing.
then, so as of now, she's fine, right?
Wow.
She still has like a little bit of stress and anxiety, of course, and that's fine. But she's also a young girl, right? I don't know. I know when I was like, her age or even younger. You look at all of these magazines and TV. Oh my gosh, I gotta be so skinny. I gotta be this. I gotta be that. I can't be beautiful. Like it's all like that's a whole other topic, but it's all just mental.
Yeah.
Media and TV and everything, and especially now the internet. I didn't have the internet when I was growing up, so there was no such thing that, of course, magazines were around, of course, paper for sure,
Yeah.
but none of this, all of this stuff that all of these young kids are getting into their head, going, oh, I have to be skinny. I have to do this and I have to do that. I have to wear makeup like this and that, and then I'll get the boys or whatever, or girls,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's not the case. And again, a call comes down to the mental and stress and anxiety of, I have to be like this.
Yeah. Absolutely. Right. And again, that just kind of goes back to like the holistic approach, right? Valuing your mental health as well. Right. And
For sure.
that comparison can be an absolute killer. And again, that's I love hearing this. And I know we kind of talked about this before, but I love hearing about and like talking with other coaches and whatnot about like in their own niches, because they all come together. They all come together to one main thing. And I think that is sort of the holistic approach to living and pursuing your life, right? And
Right.
when it comes to like, for example, so a client of mine, we've also like discussed her nutrition, and she'd really, really beat herself up if like, and she'd get mean to herself, right? About if, whether or not she or like if she had like ice cream or something like that, right? And like, why don't you switch that up, right? Why don't, instead of focusing on what you did wrong, focus on what you did right, right? She's like, oh wow, when I look at it that way, I actually did pretty great. And I was like, damn straight you did, right? But also, instead of viewing food as good and bad, right? Oh, I like I had ice cream, that's a bad food, I'm a bad person, I did a bad thing. It's like, no, like stop, come on man, right? Like relax, right? You enjoyed some ice cream, right? Enjoy it for what it is. Ice cream's freaking delicious. That doesn't it's all about like moderation, right? But also But like in the broader scheme of things, right? Like ask yourself, what value is this going to offer to my body, but also my life, right? Like did you enjoy ice cream because you were out with family, right? And like you've worked all week and you haven't been able to spend any time with your family, right? So now you finally get quality time and you have ice cream. That's just an addition to this phenomenal time, right? Or
Right.
right, and then or like in like or opposite to that, right? Are you having ice cream every single day because you're sad, right? It's like clearly that's not adding value to your body, obviously, or your life, right? Because you're just continuing to beat yourself up, and it's not regulated, right? You're making impulsive decisions, and you're giving in on temptations, right? So, oh, needless to say, I love hearing and like I love hearing how it all connects into one. It's just this beautiful. Oh, I love it.
Yes. And I know you and I talked about like, the mindset and the eating and nutrition coming together. And as you were just saying that too, just it does. And a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah.
It's this again, stress and anxiety, and then food.
Mhm.
Food, as you just said, bad, good. Like people shouldn't look at food as bad and good.
Mhm.
It's what you're going to put into your body, as you said, moderation.
Yeah.
Yes, I like to sometimes, of course, I like to have a piece of cake, or sometimes I like to have a cookie.
Yeah.
Sure, I like to have some chocolate. Sure, I mean, it's moderation. As you said, am I eating it every day? No, but I'm having it in moderation because you know what? People have sweet tooths.
Yeah.
People want a bag of chips.
Yeah.
I stuff like that. And it's not a bad thing, but you just have to sort of it's moderation. Don't have the whole bag. Have a few. Have
Right.
a few chips.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another thing, especially in my own experience. So for years, like I've counted calories, macros, and all that stuff, especially when I was like really heavy in the CrossFit, right? I had to make sure I hit my macros, right? I got all my macronutrients. I was hydrated just because I was slamming out. I was working out nonstop, right? But then my lifestyle changed. I stopped doing CrossFit, right? My priorities shifted, right? I switched into training mode, like with the military, right? And then after the training mode, I mean, well, as of now, I'm not doing any crazy training, but it's business mode, right? But what didn't change, or what failed to happen, was my adjustment of that, like my outlook and mindset on the nutrition, right? But my lifestyle changed, right? So then I found myself stressing out because I wasn't meeting, or I was stressing out over what I was eating when really I should have just been eating what my body needed, right? So instead, and I really didn't have to focus all too much on whether or not, like, obviously it's still a priority to make sure like I eat well, but that wasn't a huge priority of mine compared to, say, I don't know, making sure I network and making connections and being there for my clients, right? So it also, I think we also have to consider what our priorities are and what our lifestyle is looking at before we like beat ourselves up for our nutrition as well, right? Does that make sense?
Because life happens and life changes. Like, so you could be on this one path and now all of a sudden you're over here because of something.
Yeah.
Oh, now you're back over here. Oh, you're not back on where you're supposed to be. Like, I mean, it happens, right? I had my daughter. So here, like I'm over here, now I'm this route.
Yeah.
Like it just kind of happened, right? It's just okay, life happens. You got to sort of move along with it and adapt to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So if you could make any kind of suggestion, right, to the people who are listening today, and they're interested, maybe they feel stuck, right, with their own nutrition, right, or maybe their mindset and outlook on nutrition, right, and they're interested in more of like a holistic and natural approach to living and even like healing, what would you advise them to do, and how would you advise them to start?
Well, we've talked a lot about it, right? In the podcast here. Stress, meditation, those are things. But really the first thing is you have to look at yourself where you are now
Mm.
and where do you want to be? So it's like an A and Z kind of point, right? You're at A, let's say you want to lose 20 pounds. Okay, so how do I get to A to point Z with my nutrition, my fitness goals, all this kind of stuff? You basically just where you are in your head too. You got to be where you're at.
Yeah.
And then you have to say, okay, Megan, I'm going to go and I'm going to start doing my workouts. I'm going to start eating properly, and I'm going to get to Z by X amount of months.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't have to put a timeline on it, but I mean, with me, I've lost 20 pounds. It took a long time to do that, but guess what? I've done it. But as you know, I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's like a routine for me. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I do my workout. I have my coffee, have a shower, get my daughter up and get her out the door.
Yeah.
Right. That's my routine. I've been doing that for over a year now.
Yeah.
Some people are like, what? 4 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, I was like that too. I can't do 4 o'clock in the morning. How can you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning? It's now a routine.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Just do it. It's basically, you just have to get from you want to get from A to Z, then you have to, again, mindset. You've got to make sure this is what you want. And, you know, if you can't do exercises, go for a walk, 30 minutes a day to walk. Nothing. That's nothing.
Yeah.
Go walk wherever, go to a park, walk around the park for half an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that? Nothing. That costs you nothing. Okay, there's that. Drink your water. Try to take your supplements, and try not to do the medication route. If you need something, you can try to go to more natural route. There's so many stores all around, doesn't matter where you are in the world, there's health food stores. They have people there who are educated in this field to know. If you have questions, ask them. So
yeah, absolutely. So essentially, and firstly analyzing like where you are and where you want to go, but also don't forget to think of other possibilities, right? And I imagine like doing research, right? And like you said, asking questions, right? Asking the professionals, right? Just instead of just focusing on a single thing, right?
And there could be bumps. There's going to be bumps along the road. Like I lost that 20 pounds in a long period of time, and I could have probably done it in a shorter period of time, but I didn't. But again, bumps. Yeah. Stress, anxiety, my daughter, different things, right? Come in your head, and you're like, oh, and then eating at nighttime after supper time. You know, you got to try to sort of not do that, because then you are going to start gaining weight. You know, like, I mean, I know some people do eat late, and that's fine. They have to sort of like not eating all the time. Yeah. Then that's more stress. People stress eat too a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's definitely where like getting into that correct mindset and being easy on yourself, meditating, right? Or incorporating some meditation in your lifestyle.
Going for a walk, that'll help. That'll clear your mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Try at least a little bit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you. Thank you. So then for our listeners, where can they actually find you?
Pretty much on Instagram. I am on Facebook, but I'm mainly on my Instagram page at Meghan Loomes. Find me there. And if you have any questions, anybody have questions, pop them to me. If you want to talk to me, we can definitely have a conversation. And I'm starting a program. So different things. I'm all for helping as many people as I can in a more natural way. And that's pretty much what it is.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, Meghan, thank you so much for joining us on the show. I actually really enjoyed chatting about this.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you.